1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Hey gang, today we're going to continue on our beginning blues lead playing, and we're going to do an introduction. Now, why do an introduction? Well, the reason is because a lot of the articulation that I just used is used a lot in lead playing. And you know, blues is not just about playing the notes of a scale. It's far more important to play notes in time and with a feel than it is to play, you know, a particular scale or something like that. So we're going to do this introduction, and it's an introduction to like a Texas sort of shuffle. Heard that sort of thing before. So it can be used in a lot of different places, and it's just a great thing to get under your belt. Okay, so we're going to do this in just a second. Hey, you know, I got to share with you, I just got something that's pretty cool. I got this new Blackstar HT5 MK2. It's the second version of it. And I'm really digging it. So many of my guitars have just kind of come to life. It's a 5-watt tube amp. You can attenuate it down to a 1/2 watt so you can play indoors and not bother people, which is really cool. Yeah, and it's just, I haven't had a new tube amp in a while, and this one's just fantastic. Love it. It's not that expensive. I put a link down below, and I got it from Sweetwater, who also sent me a t-shirt. I kind of like the service that I get from them, so that's where I've linked it if you're interested. All right, on to the lesson. Okay, gang. Hey, I'm going to do the slow-mo and then the note for note in just a minute, but there's a couple of things I wanted to say before we do this. Number one, no tab on this one. Now that's on purpose. There are certain things that you just have to get into your ears and into your fingers without tab. Tab can be a horrible crutch if you use it all the time, so we're not doing tab today. Tab can be great if you want to learn something really quickly and you already basically know the song. If you don't know the song or the lick, you should listen to it, try and play around with it and so forth. It's good whenever you can not use tab to do that. All right, enough said about that. Second thing I wanted to say is, don't feel bad if it takes you a while to get this. When I started doing these things, I literally played these hundreds of times, these licks hundreds of times. And it's not because I didn't have the notes down, I couldn't press the right notes on the fingerboard. It was that I really didn't have it in my ears and in my fingers at the same time so that I was comfortable and I could relax when I played it. Okay? And that's a really important thing to be able to do. Now, it may not take you 100 times to do it. You may be a lot better than I am. But that's kind of what you want to do. You want to be able to have it be relaxed, because otherwise you're not going to be able to put the articulation into it, the little things, the little touches to make it sound bluesy or to make it sound like music rather than just an automaton playing this or a robot playing these notes. Okay, enough said about that. Let's do the slow-mo and then we'll break it down. Okay, here we go. I'm going to count it out and then we'll play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's that. And you'll notice that I came in on the and of 3. So it's like this. 1, 2, 3. Right? Like that. 1, 2, 3. Ba 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 da 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 da. So this note right here, that's the 1. Okay, so we've got 3 pickup notes. Let's play the first pickup notes. We're just going to play on the B string. That's it. And then we're ready to go with the main part of the lick. I should say that we are going to do this kind of as an extension of the E minor pentatonic that we learned in the first lesson. So this is in E. It's one thing to know the scale, it's another thing to be able to play something from that scale. There's a couple of oddball notes. We'll deal with those. They sound kind of cool. Okay, so we're going to start out with this. Here's our first lick. So that lick right there deals with two really important techniques. The first is what's called, I'm going to call it doubling a note. So we're playing two strings, the same note. In blues, that happens a lot. In rock, too, that happens a lot. So killing two birds with one stone here. In this case, we're going to play on the B string, 3, and we're going to slide up to 5, while striking the first two strings, the B and the E strings. Now, when we do that, this 5 right here, you'll note, is the same note as the open top string. Right? And when we slide up, we add a little bit of dissonance, and it sounds really cool. Common technique. Okay, then we're going to come down. Okay, we come into the turn. This is a turn. At least in classical, it's called turn. I like calling it a dipsy doodle. And you'll see why. We're going to hammer, we play a note, we hammer onto it, pull off to it, pull off again. So with only one time picking, and that's important that we only pick it once. We don't want to pick it a bunch of times, just once. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, so this right here, that's all one pick. So we're going to play on the A, the G string 2, we're going to hammer to 3, pull off to 2, pull off to open. Okay, and then play, that's the D string 2 and open. Now just another bit of a note here. This is kind of like a zap, da, 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 right? So we're going to hesitate just a little bit. And this is really subtle, folks, so if you don't quite get this, it's okay. But it's really subtle. We're not going to play it really straight like we're going to play. You hear the difference there? I'm hesitating in the second. I'm not hesitating here, but I'm hesitating here. So it's just a bit of a hesitation. That's the kind of thing that you want. Nice, relaxed hesitation. So that's the first lick. Okay, here's the second part. Now, I'm just going to do this one really nice, short, and simple because it's just all on the G string, 2, open, and then back to it. And then instead of playing the 4 directly, I'm going to slide to it from the note below. And then trail off. Sorry. That's got kind of a cool sound to it. So you want to play with that articulation. Now letting it ring out, that also sounds good, but it's not what we're doing here. You want to be able to do both of those things, actually. But right here, we're just playing. All right? So make sure you get that articulation. It's not like this. It's cut it off pretty quickly. Okay, here's the last part. Again, we won't actually let that ring out like I just did. It'll be like that as well. Okay, so that's basically using that same turn, but we're starting the lick out on the open D string. I should say one more thing on this with the turn. I finger it in first position like this using my first and second fingers, but this may work better for you using your second and third. Play around with it. It's your hand. You got to figure out how to do this and make it work for yourself, okay? I know that sounds cruel in some cases, but you got to be able to play yourself. So figure out the fingering that's most comfortable for you, and that's the one that's going to work. Okay. Now, the last part I do is this cool 7♯9 chord. The so-called Hendrix chord. It's really a cool chord. This is a B7♯9 chord, and what we're doing here, this is playing on the A string. We'll play the 2, which is the B. Then we've got D1, G2, and B3. Now this right here on the B string, this D that we're playing on the 3rd fret is actually the sharp 9. The 9 would be a C sharp here in B. If you're keeping score and you're interested in theory, that's the sharp 9 right there. One last thing on this. I used a little tiny Stevie Ray Vaughan technique. Now you can practice this. This is an advanced thing for sure, but I raked back before I hit it. Let me play that slowly. That takes some practice not to be playing it like this. That sounds bad. You don't want to do that. It's just a slight rake so you don't really hear the notes of the strings. And then 2 downstrokes. How do you do that rake without hearing all the strings? Well, you gotta loosen up just a little bit with your left hand so you're not ringing those notes. That's tough to do. Good luck. Have fun with this one. That's it though. That's the whole lick. All right, gang. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. Short and sweet. And I think it's a really important thing to get under your belt, that sort of articulation. Yeah, play this one over and over until you get it, and then try your own variations. You'll be amazed at how much it helps you in your blues soloing. Till next time, we'll see you on down the road.